Hey everybody, welcome back to Dude Ranch DIY. In today's video, we are going to be adding spray foam insulation to this brand new pole barn. So yeah, within the next hour or so, the spray foam contractors should be arriving, and we are going to be spraying over the next day or so this entire barn with open cell spray foam. We're going to be doing about 7 inches on all of the walls and about 9.5 inches on the ceiling, which should allow us about an R value of an R38 on the ceiling and R22 roughly on the walls. I've consolidated all of the electrical supplies, leftover building supplies and stuff, tools that I've been using out here to this little area. I don't think this should obstruct them all that much being around the stairs here. I don't think they're really going to be spraying anything. So I am super excited. I know there's a lot of talk about open cell versus closed cell spray foam. What's better? Honestly, it really depends on your application and what you're trying to do. In this case here, this is just my take on it because everybody's gonna have their own opinion, just like Ford, GMC, Dodge, Steel versus Husqvarna. Everybody has their own opinion and they're entitled to their own opinion. Now, being where we are in southwestern Connecticut, we get seasons, seasonal variations. We do get moisture by way of rain, snow and stuff like that. So you'll see behind me that all the walls are wrapped in Tyvek house wrap, which is a water, moisture membrane. The whole ceiling has double bubble vapor barrier, which is typical for, a pole barn building. If you want that vapor barrier, that will help prevent, condensation from dripping down and stuff. We decided that for this application and what we're gonna be doing here in this building, which is, occasional use. It's not like we're out here all day, every day, running a business out of this building. This is essentially equipment storage and a place to work when we need it and a place to hang out and recreate when we need it. So, that being said, we have decided to go with open cell spray foam. So open and closed cell spray foam, the biggest difference is the amount that you have to spray. With closed cell spray foam, you can achieve a higher R value through less inches of spray foam compared to the open cell. So open cell, to achieve the same R value, you need to spray more of it, which if you're doing re-insulating an old house or you're re-insulating an existing space, closed cell a lot of the time, from what I've learned, is the preferred method because you're able to achieve that R value in a lot less volume of spray. Whereas in a building like this that's wide open, brand new, space isn't really an issue here because the posts are 6x6 vertical posts anyway. So we're basically just filling up all of the bays between these posts with as much open cell spray foam as possible. The other huge factor between open cell and closed cell is the cost. The open cell spray foam is about half the price, if not less, than the closed cell spray foam. So because we have the vapor barrier and the double bubble on the ceiling, that in my mind takes care of the water permeability problem. 2 is the cost. The cost was a lot more tolerable, we should say, to do the open cell spray foam because of the type of building that we're in. We're not pressed for space. Like I said, we can afford to do a full 7 or 9 inches of this spray foam and still have plenty of room to do everything else we want to do, put up, sheathing on the walls, run electric, run air, run water eventually, all that good stuff. So that was my reasoning, I guess, for going with the open cell. It just really seemed like closed cell would kind of be overkill. We would only need a couple inches of it, which is fine, but that couple inches we were spending more than double the price of the open cell. And for the 2 to 3 inches of closed cell we're actually getting a higher R value by spraying, double the amount of volume of foam, but we're gonna be achieving a higher R value for way, way less cost. We'll check back in once the contractors get here. Okay, I think we are officially ready. It is 7:15. They should be arriving somewhere around 7:30, 8 o'clock. All right, spray foam guys have arrived. Here they come. See if they can make it up. All right, guys, I am headed off to work. These guys are finishing up, wrapping everything. I really wish I could stay to watch them start, but looks like they got a lot more to go. And we'll pick up with them this afternoon when I get home from work on the tail end. There'll be more to look at anyway. So we set up a time lapse in there. Hopefully that captures some of it. And we'll check back in once I return home from work. Guys, I am back from work and these guys have been hard at it and they got the majority of the building done. Like, it's just a few spots still need it. It is very warm in here with the heater going and this insulation now. I can't imagine what it's like up there. So yeah, they went ahead and put some rock wool or bats of insulation in there to fill in the soffits. And then as you can see, they fill it full with foam. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. Well guys, this is looking pretty darn good. I don't really know what to think. Right now everything is kind of a mess with this stuff everywhere, but I mean it's so warm in here. Just with the one heater going. They don't even have the other one going anymore. But yeah, right now at this point I'm just thinking about how this foam is going to affect me finishing off the walls and stuff, because as you can see, a lot of it in places comes out further than these vertical posts. But being open cell, it is very soft, so you can, you know, push on it. But I don't know to what degree. I believe they're gonna come back tomorrow when they paint it and cut a lot of this stuff flush. They have a big blade, I believe, that they can use to cut it. I'm just hoping that they do a good job of cutting it, because that's that's a lot of work. You know, there's spots over here where, you know, and this isn't a bad thing. It's good that they overdid it, but you know, that's 4 or 5 inches over the post, and we're not going to be able to put plywood up over that. But as you can see, you know, they got all the little nooks and crannies and stuff all up into behind the rafters, floor joists. So all this looks really good. And I mean, it is pretty hard, you know. It's not like rock hard like closed cell would be, but it's pretty darn hard. Well, all right, guys, they are done for the day, and we have a fully spray foamed pole barn. They were able to hit everything and they did not skimp. They, if anything, went a little overboard, but I'm happy to have more than less. And the crew is gonna come in to trim and paint all the spray foam. So that will be the next step. But for right now, I will say the biggest thing that I notice is how quiet it is in here. You can't hear anything. I mean, it's pretty warm for not having any of the heaters going, and just the ambient, you know, heat that was left over from them working today, but it is quiet. All you hear is yourself and your thoughts. Well, all right, guys, I'm back the next day, and the guys are here shaving the walls. Oh, guys are here shaving the walls of the excess spray foam. As you can see, big chunks of it coming down. They got all the, you know, the lower part of this wall done. And you can see, you know, the difference in it. So they're shaving it down to these 6x6 posts, and I think we're just gonna have to alter the way that we were planning on sheeting the walls, and we're gonna have to put some, you know, 2x4, 2x6 stringers going from vertical post to vertical post, as opposed to keeping them flush and like toenailing them to the vertical posts. But the other gentleman that's gonna paint all the exposed foam and the entirety of the ceiling just showed up, and they're gonna start painting the ceiling today. So we are moving right along, and you can see they're using these big sawzalls with these long blades to shave everything down. started spraying the paint up on the ceiling up there, and we are continuing the shaving process over here. So this is the gray fire retardant paint, and they're just spraying it down a little bit on the walls here because I do have to meet code, sheathe up 4 feet with plywood for now, minimum. Eventually we'll cover the rest of this, but to meet code, we're just having them paint the walls. This is the painting truck or what? It works. Well guys, they are done with the spray foam and the painting and the shaving and, well, not the cleanup. They'll be back to clean up tomorrow and take down their scaffolding and everything else. But they have completed, and I gotta say, it looks great. I really wasn't sure how this was all gonna turn out and how it was gonna look, because I don't think these buildings are all that common around here, especially to get spray foam insulated. And I really wasn't sure to what degree they were gonna shave the walls, but they did a fantastic job at shaving down the walls. These walls, I mean, if you look down, compared to what it was, they are way, way better. This is 100% tolerable for putting up plywood. I don't think there should be any issue with that. And the painting came out great as well. That's all the fire retardant paint. The gray, honestly, is a little darker than I was anticipating, but I can live with it. It's totally fine. All the light, in here is super bright. I was really curious to see what it looked like tonight, being out here in the dark with the lights on with this gray paint, but I'm pretty happy with it. Under here, looks great as well. No paint needed under here because we're going to be covering this with plywood, so all of that will be covered up. Which I think will look pretty good. We might not even do plywood down here. We might do something a little bit nicer because we're planning on that being like a bar area. And as we walk up the stairs here, we're going to be doing plywood on the lower 4 feet. Eventually, probably all the way to the top, maybe all the way to the top all in one shot. We'll see. But we got it painted anyway. That way, if we do choose to just do the bare minimum, we can still pass as far as code goes. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with everything, the way it all came out. I'll be curious to see if when they come in tomorrow to remove all this plastic, if they take all the spray foam, like droplets and stuff, off of the trusses. If they don't, obviously not the end of the world. But just something that I noticed. But yeah, they have quite a cleanup job to do here with all this stuff. It was really cool watching them do this as they spray it, you know, and it drips down off the ceiling. It just like forms into foam in midair. Pretty neat. Just stuff everywhere you look. So I am happy to report that I confirmed there is a cleanup crew coming. I believe at some point today to clean up all this mess and unwrap everything. So that was music to my ears because this is quite a mess. We'll see how thorough they are with all these little, you know, dips and dots of spray foam everywhere. Honestly, it's probably just easiest to sweep it all up into a big pile, and whatever dirt you get with it, you get with it. But yeah, I'm gonna get the heater going. I'd be surprised if this paint is fully dry. You can see it's shiny in some spots. No, not dry. So yeah, I gotta go get some more diesel. We'll get the heater going so this stuff can have a chance to dry. Okay, so we're gonna do a little test. I got the infrared, thermometer here. Outside the ground, it's roughly 32, 33 degrees. Inside here, it's 26 degrees, because that's in the sun. The walls, everything, 26 degrees in here. So, it is 9:59, 10 o'clock on the dot. We're gonna shut the door, and we're gonna see what temperature it is in an hour. All right, I got a timer set for an hour. I mean, right now, you can see my breath. It's pretty cold in here. Definitely warmer outside. Curious to see. All right, so it's been about 15 minutes, and we're looking like ground is up to like 34, 35 degrees. The wall over there, you can see the laser, 49 degrees. Up there, we're up to 50 degrees. 51. $49. 40, 37 on the ground. So it's warming up pretty quick in here. All the way over on that gable end. 49. It's only been 15 minutes. All right, guys, it's been 45 minutes. Let's do a little temperature check here. We are at 58, 59 degrees on the walls at, you know, ground height, 4 foot, 58, 57. Up in the top, ceiling, we are 62, 62. Back wall over there, 56. But it makes sense, the heat's blowing this way towards me. 56. All right, 1 hour later, temperature check. So on the wall over there, we are at 61, ceiling 66, 65, loft 63, back wall, back corner 57, 58. Let's see what the ground is. 40, 39, 38. Yeah, so this is great. If I could come out and keep running this for a couple days just when I'm around, I think we could get the frost to lift in here, which would allow us to do concrete sooner, which is why we elected to do all the electrical and the spray foam and everything before we did concrete, just because of all the frost and everything. But yeah, this insulation is certainly doing the trick. Seems to be lighter in the spots that didn't get shaved, you know, that were below the threshold of getting shaved, and then in the spots that it did get shaved, it has a different texture, so the foam absorbed it a little differently. That actually might all dry the same. I'm thinking maybe the foam that did get hit just absorbed more paint because it was more porous, and maybe that takes longer to dry. I'm curious. We'll have to see. The camera looks a lot darker than it actually is, the color of it, but it does kind of look like, you know, the color of your standard cinder block, I would say.
Holy, this completely changes it. The acoustics,
right?
It's hot in here. Visually.
So I just walked in here from doing a little bit of work down in the wood yard with the excavator, and it's all hazy in here. I don't know what this is. If it's just like condensation because it's warm, or it was warm and now it's cooling down. My in-laws are about to come out soon, so I'm gonna fire back up the heater. Hopefully that's all it is. I don't know, it actually seems to kind of be going away too. Odd. All right, guys, I am very happy to report that the guys are back. They just showed up. It is about 12:30, so it looks like they're eating some lunch in their car, and then they're going to come in and hopefully clean all this mess up and get everything unwrapped. But whatever they accomplish is awesome, because it'll be a lot less that I have to clean up moving forward. So I'm going to set this time lapse up, and should see them progressing swiftly. All right, just set up the time lapse. We'll see what this looks like when they're done. So I don't think you can ask for much more than that. They did a great job. I mean, they got honestly more than I would have anticipated. I can certainly go around and, you know, pick up more stuff, rake it up, sweep it, what have you, but, you know, they got the lion's share of it, so. All in all, pretty good. Pretty good job cleanup. I'll probably go around, you know, maybe sweep up or rake up a little bit more, but you can't ask for much more than that from the company. I mean, come on. These guys did a great job. Energy Spray Systems out of Stamford, Connecticut, if you're in this area. But yeah, I'm very happy with how this all turned out. Something I did just notice they came back to do was once they took all the plastic off, they hit all the doors and windows with just like can foam. Low expansion they call it, which was in the proposal. So I was wondering at what point they would do it, but they did come back and do it. You know, they got it wherever there wasn't already this like silicone from the actual installation. But we'll have to trim some of that. That's all right. I'm glad to see that they did it. I ended up tipping the guys 40 bucks each, hoping that they would do you know, slightly better job or as good of a job as they could. I think they did pretty good. So let's bring in all the stuff that I brought. I'm curious to see what works the best. I'm hoping I can kind of go around with the shop vac and that this foam will be a lot lighter than the rocks and everything, and it'll just kind of pick up the foam. And hopefully the dust doesn't create too much of an issue. We'll see. I don't know, this might be a lost cause. I was thinking I would like to get up as much of this stuff as I can because I really don't want it blowing around the property. This is a brand new filter last week.
mean, it did pick up a lot of foam, but there's still a lot more left. Shovel I have out here. These shovelfuls are deceivingly light because of how much foam is in there. There's really not, I mean, there's definitely gravel, but not as much as the size of the pile would lead you to believe. My main concern with this stuff is it blowing out and around the property and me seeing it for the next 10 years. Also, not sure about how it biodegrades or if it's safe, like if my dogs were to eat a piece of it, because I've already found pieces of it in their mouth as they were out here. So I'd rather just clean up as much of this as I can. And then hopefully it won't be a reminder for years to come. I think I'm gonna call it there. I can live with that, and I'll just keep picking up big chunks like this as I see them. Nothing like having to pay to haul away dirt and gravel. I guess there was more dirt in there than I thought. This is gonna be a common occurrence for the next couple of weeks.
But like I said, we're a lot better than we started off. Those guys, in the grand scheme of things, did, like I said last night, an amazing job with cleanup. I'm just OCD, so I want to do a little bit better of a job. Now, I would imagine that if we were on a concrete slab, there wouldn't be anything left behind. They would have, I mean, it would have been a much easier cleanup job. They could have just literally like blown everything into a big pile and swept it up. So by no means is this a poor reflection on the company. They went above and beyond. I am extremely satisfied with the way that this turned out. So let's pull the equipment back in here. We're not going to be doing anything immediately in here for the next couple of days or so. All right, well, the barn is spray foam insulated. We've cleaned up to the best of our abilities. I'm gonna call this one a wrap. So yeah, you know, as you can see, everything fits in here really nicely. Plenty of room for, you know, working on stuff with everything in here. Like I said, guys, I think that's gonna wrap up this here video on spray foaming the barn. I'm super happy. Huge shout out to Energy Spray Systems out of Stamford, Connecticut. They did a real bang up job here on this building, going from absolutely no insulation whatsoever to fully spray foam insulated. Drop a comment down below what you think of the whole process. If you think I made a mistake going with open cell versus closed cell, how you might go about sheathing these walls the easiest way possible now that the foam has completely filled up the bays. I'm thinking we're just going to run 2x4 stringers, 3 spaced out evenly on the wall per 8-foot section, and just fix the plywood to that, call it a day. But that will likely be the next video or the next update on this pole barn series. So if you guys are just checking in and you haven't already seen all the prior videos to this, I'll drop a link in the comment below, or I will drop a link in the description below to the playlist for this whole pole barn build series. So as always, guys, if you like the video, give it a big thumbs up. If you haven't done so already, consider clicking that subscribe button. It's the easiest way to get new updates on this pole barn build and everything else we're doing around the channel. Drop a comment down below. But for now, I'm Jake. This is Dude Ranch DIY. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you here next time.